We are on day 35, Exodus 16 through 18. Don't forget to purchase the daily reading companion, which is basically an outline of the scriptures that we read every day so that you can know like what we're working on today, what we'll work on tomorrow, as well as what we've worked on in the past. So going right in to Exodus 16, we they are they being the Israelites are on day 15 in the wilderness. And again, if you know how it went from them spending 3 days into the wilderness to 40 years, please put it in the comments because I do not understand how that happened. But anyway, day 15, the whole community is grumbling against Moses and Aaron. So the people were afraid that they would starve, and God basically told them, like, they're not going to starve. I'm going to rain bread in the morning and you will have meat in the evening. And he did just that. He gave them bread in the morning and meat in the evening. And he told them to gather enough bread for that day. He informed them to not take any extra. And he let them know that on the sixth day or the day before Sabbath to get 2 days worth of bread, because on the seventh day they need to rest. So don't go out and get no bread because you should have grabbed enough to last the Sabbath. And he basically did this because he wanted to see if the people would trust him enough to follow instructions. And yeah, so the bread that he provided was called manna, and the meat was quail that he provided at nighttime. And Moses told them, don't keep any of the bread, don't preserve any of the bread until morning. Like, eat all of it, don't save any of it. Some people, of course, are naturally hard-headed and they saved some, and the bread that they saved became rotten. It had magnets and a smell to it too. And so remember, I told you guys that God told them to make sure that they had enough bread to cover the Sabbath. And some people didn't because they are naturally hard-headed, and there was no bread on the Sabbath day because he had told them to grab enough for the sixth and seventh day. And of course they didn't. But anyway, it says that they ate this type of bread, the manna, for 40 years. So all while they were in the wilderness, they had this type of bread. And then in chapter 17, they are complaining again. And then that's when I realized, like, anytime there's an inconvenience or a situation makes them uncomfortable, they complain. It's as if they get amnesia of all of the things that God had done for them up until that point. It didn't matter to them because they gonna complain about what's happening right then and there. And that seems to be their ongoing flaw. That's what they keep doing, and it's probably why they spend 40 years in that desert, because they don't learn how to appreciate what was done for them in the past. They just be like, oh, this is so inconvenient, I want to complain, why did you bring us here, forgetting that God making it rain bread every day. They don't even care about that. They just like, we should have stayed in Egypt, like blah blah blah. Really? So anyway, in chapter 17, the people are complaining because they didn't have water. So God is like, strike a rock in front of the Israelites, like some of the elders of the Israelites, and once you strike the rock, water will come out, and that's gonna quench their thirst. And I'm thinking to myself, these people so ungrateful, like they ain't gonna care. Even the next thing that come up, they're gonna be complaining about that too. But that's just my opinion. Then after he does that, the Amalekites, I don't even know, but it's the type of people. They came and they waged war on the Israelites. So Moses told Joshua to go get some men and fight while he goes to the hill and stretch out his hand. And Joshua basically did what he said. And up the hill was Moses, Aaron, and Hur. And this part is significant because Moses knew enough to not go alone. He knew he would need help to do what God tell him to do. So he's like, okay, I'm going to put these two men to come with me so that I can get help. And then he left somebody down off the hill who he trusted to do the instructions that he left, which was go grab some man and go fight. Joshua did that. He took Aaron and Hur up to the hill. And then the Bible says that while his hands was up, Joshua and them was winning. But when his hands went down, that they would lose. So what they ended up doing is sitting Moses on the rock, and Hur held one arm of Moses while Aaron held the other arm up so that they could win the war. They did win the war because Moses was smart enough to bring men to the hill who were able to help him. So when Joshua won, basically God was like, I'm blotting the Amalek from, under heaven. He took them people out. Okay, they ain't gonna be in heaven, I presume, because of this. And he also says that he personally, the Lord, will personally be at war against the Amalekites. Again, I butchered names, but he gonna be at war with them from generation to generation. Can you imagine being like the great 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 of the people who did that, and you still getting cursed by God because what they did? Like, can they convert or something? Like, how do they get from under this is what I was thinking. Like, because I would be so mad my ancestors did that so many years ago and I'm still impacted by it. Like, what? Okay, and then we get into chapter 18. And in chapter 18, Jethro, who is Moses' father-in-law, basically heard through the grapevine everything that God was doing for Moses and the Israelites. So he decided to bring Zipporah, who is Moses' wife, and their two sons to pay Moses a visit. So everybody coming to pay Moses a visit. And so he's like, come up and like, hey, they hug, they kiss. Moses tell them, all of the things that God had done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians while they were there. And Jethro was delighted, and he brought a burnt offering to sacrifice to God. And they all eat dinner, including Aaron is there as well. And so from there, Jethro, I guess, shadowed Moses to his job or something. I don't know. But anyway, he seen Moses be a judge all day, resolving conflict between the Israelites. And he suggested to Moses that he find man that's trustworthy and God-fearing to be over the people, thousands, hundreds, 50, tens, fives, and let them handle the cases and then just bring him the difficult cases, because he realized that this situation that Moses has going is not sustainable. He gonna wear himself out trying to solve every conflict. He needs to delegate. Moses takes his suggestion and implement it, and then he sent man on his way. I bet he was like, thank you very much, and now you can go. So he went on back home. And that's the end of that. And we'll get back to the rest of it tomorrow. So until next time, see you next time.